Greetings, cocktail aficionados. It's John Moser with another edition of Cocktails Out of Quarantine. The drink I'm going to make today is a very special one. It's one I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's called Clarified Milk Punch. Clarified Milk Punch, and if you're thinking, if what comes to mind is some kind of mixture of bourbon and dairy, you're wrong. Not that there's anything wrong with mixing bourbon and dairy. I've done that before. It's a perfectly respectable drink, perfectly delicious drink. But what makes Clarified Milk Punch special, a couple of things. For one thing, it's very old. It goes back at least as far as the 18th century, if not earlier. The reason I know this is because Ben Franklin writes about Clarified Milk Punch. In fact, there are recipes out there based on his own recipe for Clarified Milk Punch. And in fact, the recipe that I'm using today is based on that as well. So it has a long, long pedigree. Second, the clarified part. It doesn't look like milk at all. It's going to be, it's going to have color, of course, but it's going to be completely clear in terms of not really having anything floating around in it. That is, if we make it correctly, and I hope we're going to make it correctly. The main liquors in it are port and rum. And then some other ingredients as well. But then you add milk, the milk curdles, and you strain the mixture through the curds. That's how it gets clear. So it's a terrific drink. I've had a variant of Clarified Milk Punch at the Crafted Cocktail Company up in Wadsworth, Ohio on several occasions, and I loved it. I made some myself about a year ago. I didn't, in fact, do it entirely correctly, but still it was delicious. This time I'm going to try really, really hard to do it completely correctly, so with any luck, it will be even better. So I'm going to show you how to make Clarified Milk Punch, but first I'm going to show you what you need in order to make the drink. So you ask, what do I need to make Clarified Milk Punch? First and foremost, you need milk. Not a lot, just a cup of it. And as I said before, it's going to provide the lactose that's going to give some of the flavor to the drink. Rum. Now, if you really want to be a stickler, you should use something called Batavia Arrack, A-R-R-A-C-K, which is a really old liquor, a rum-like liquor made from sugar cane and fermented red rice. Okay. Batavia Arrack, if I lived in a big place, I'm sure I'd be able to find some. I'm not going to get a handle on I'm not going to get a hold of any of that stuff. But what I've got here is a very interesting island rum. It's a blend of Jamaican, Barbadian, and Trinidadian rum. I'm going to use that as a substitute. It should be just fine. And then, Ruby port. You want to go with Ruby, not Tawny. Sandeman is a good, solid brand, not crazy expensive, but it'll be tasty. Sugar, we're going to use some sugar in there, and lemon. 3 ounces, that should be easily get 3 ounces out of 2 good-sized lemons. And one more thing, tea. We are going to brew a couple cups of that, and that's going to go into it as well. So it's a really interesting drink. Now that you know what you need, let's make it. All right, the first thing we are going to do is pour a cup of milk into this large glass bowl. It's good to use glass, it's not a reactive surface. Then we're going to set that aside because we're going to mix everything else, except the milk obviously, and the tea in a pitcher like this. Tea. You should use black tea. What I used for this was Twining's Prince of Wales. It's steeped for about 4 or 5 minutes, so that should be about perfect. I'm now going to add that to the mixture of booze and sugar and lemon juice. All right. And, wait a minute. I'm going to put the lid back on this and shake it just a bit. Aerate it. Nice blend. And now, here's where the exciting part comes. We are going to add this to the milk. And we'll watch some real curdling take place. Have a look at this. Now you can see all those curds that are forming in the top, right? It looks disgusting, but that's what it's supposed to do. And then we are going to collect those curds by taking a strainer with cheesecloth in it, right? I folded it over a few times. And then we are going to pour that back into the original pitcher that we had the Vooz mixture in. And it's gonna take time, right? You're gonna have to wait for this to drain, and I'm gonna pour more in, and it'll be a little while before I can get everything in there. And the curds are gonna collect up here. You'll see what I mean in a minute. All right, so here's the situation. We've got a whole bunch of curds that have collected up here. And then most of the liquid has found its way to the bottom. Oh, look at that lovely color. This is gonna be so nice, I can't wait. Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to strain this at least once more, maybe even 2 or 3 times more. And we're just gonna do that by transferring the strainer with the curds to here, and then pouring this back through. This is a slow, time-consuming progress. And what you're gonna be tempted to do, this is what I was tempted to do when I made it last time, was to say, well, we can hurry this along by just using a spatula and pushing the curds aside. Well, I was missing the whole point of the exercise. You wanted to go through those curds because those curds are what really clarify it. So it's just a matter of being patient, pouring a little in, letting it drip through, adding more, adding more. Once it's all gone through, do it all again. At the last stage, we are going to run it through, a coffee filter instead of this cheesecloth. That way we're gonna get it really clear. So here's what it looks like after 2 strains. It's pretty clear, but I think we can get it even clearer. So I'm gonna take the strainer, I'm gonna put it over the pitcher, and then start the process over again. The more we do this, the clearer it's going to get. Okay, so now our mixture has been through the curds several times. You can see what's collected there. We've got in here something that's quite clear. In fact, it looks a lot like rosé wine, but I tell you, it smells better. I'm sure it tastes better. I'm not a big fan of rosé wine myself. And I will tell you, it's gonna be a heck of a lot stronger than rosé wine. We're going to gather up the curds in the cheesecloth. We're not gonna need them anymore. And we're just gonna pitch this. And there's gonna be one more strain. This time, we're gonna use coffee filters. What I have here are a couple of conical filters that I have ripped at the side, and they should rest perfectly into the bottom of this strainer, like so. And the last strain will be through these. I'll hold these together so that they don't shift. There we go. And this strain is going to be a lot quicker. Let's get this more into the camera. There, see how lovely that is? Pour a little more in. And once that's finished straining, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna put it into roughly 1 quart container. I've got this carafe here that I think ought to work, and store that in the fridge. And that is how you get clarified milk punch. So it's been in the fridge for some time. It is chilled. Look how lovely this is. And it's now my favorite part of the video, where I taste it. Got a nice big rock of ice there. Pour that in. Oh, it's delicious taste. Let me try. You know what's really interesting about this is, unlike most drinks, where you can pick out the individual ingredients. It's really hard to do that with here. Like, is that? You can't really say, oh, there's the tea, or there's the port, or there's the rum. The whole thing is just this tremendous product that is much greater than the sum of its parts. So Clarified Milk Punch, I know it takes some work, it's tougher than your average cocktail, but you might want to give it a try. So hope you're having a great day. I hope you all have a wonderful new year, and until next time, cheers.